this is me. I'm Kirsty. I'm CEO at Metabolic Support UK. Thank you very much to Beacon for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about our project Thoughts into Action. Metabolic Support UK is a patient organisation for anybody living with one of over 500 inherited metabolic disorders. We have two main functions. One is to work alongside and support all of the amazing, excellent disease-specific organisations in IMD. But we also serve as the direct patient organisation for the many IMDs, very small communities who don't have anyone else to serve them. Not that anyone else is in, we're like the best of a bad lot, but you know, this is our role. As an organisation that is umbrella, we have the opportunity and interest to look at issues around commonalities that don't necessarily pertain to your specific IMD diagnosis. And that's where Thoughts into Action comes in. So, I mean, that's a bit waffly, sorry, but it's just there for reference. Thoughts into Action is a research report that we have commissioned, which is intended to ask the IMD community, selecting research methodologies of people who are going to be part of it, what quality of life means to them. I came from disability rights in my last position and came into rare disease less than 2 years ago into this role. And one of the things that really struck me, if I'm going to be honest, is that there is lots of very well-meaning, but I think at times potentially empty rhetoric about patient centricity from some parts of our sector. And we talk about early engagement, but if you're valued this much at this stage, you're not valued more just because you pull it back a bit. So what we're trying to do with this project is to meaningfully and genuinely try and get something from stories that we can use to make change. So we are using a grounded theory method, which is like, I won't explain it because it's just a whole thing. But essentially, we're trying not to presuppose what people think quality of life is. So we just have research conversations. My colleague Tony in the room here is taking most of those conversations, and then we have a grounded theory specialist who listens to them and codes them. So that's a whole thing, but it's intended to allow us to find themes and issues and topics within stories rather than say, what's worse, not getting a job or having to take loads of medicines every day, which is not really proper insight as it pertains to this. So what will we do with it? As an patient organisation, some of the things that Rick just mentioned are quite important. You know, we want to make sure that we're actually doing what our community wants us to do and need us to do, not being in the agendas who fund us, like us, knew us 10 years ago, we're mates with, that we met at a conference. And I'm not sure we can eradicate all of that because that's society, but we'd like to challenge ourselves as an organisation, find out what our community need, and then we're going to redesign our services and what we do based on the outcome of this project. The other thing we're going to do is look at what our community thinks quality of life is, and we're going to try and assess that against the power structures and policy that tell them what quality of life is, quite literally sometimes in quality of life measures. So we're going to then look at making a series of recommendations, not things like early engagement, but actual specifics that can be accountable and trackable. That's our intention. So we hope that you'll all help support us with that. For the last minute, I'm just going to show, these are just some quotes of some of the things that are coming out of our research. So those hour-long, more than sometimes, conversations are about a myriad of issues and identity things. And one that really struck me is all power's taken from me, and people don't view me the same because I have a disability. You're not viewed. It's like I'm not a full person. It's like they view me as half. And as someone who's come from a disability rights background, what I hope to do is to engineer a bit of a change in the rare disease sector and start looking at a rights-based model rather than a charity-based model of gratitude for fixing me or for giving me stuff that I should have had anyway, but society wasn't built for my body. So that's what we intend to do. We are up to 50 participants at the moment, which is, I know it sounds small, but it's a huge amount of work. But we are looking for more, so if any of you are IMD communities, please share the research. And when it comes out, at least give the executive summary a glance, because it's been really hard work. So thank you very much. I'm on time, I think. Yeah. Thank you.